Ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're working on a Toro recycler that moves really slow. Now, sometimes you can just adjust it, and sometimes you need a new belt. But we'll go over what to look for and how to know what you need to do. So let's get started. Here we've got one of my favorite lawnmowers. It's a Toro recycler with a Briggs flathead engine, which is my favorite engine. So this thing runs, and it does move, but it moves really slowly. So the first thing we did was we went over here and we loosened this up and put a screwdriver in here to loosen that. And we tightened this as tight as we could. And you can see it's super tight, but it still didn't move very fast. It did move, but not very quick. So next up is to make sure that the wheels turn freely. And on this one, they do. So unfortunately, we have to go do a belt. And doing a belt's not that hard. So let's get underneath it. Now on this particular mower, you've got two 3/8 bolts under here. One right here, which you can just reach with a screw gun. And you got one over here. Where are you at, buddy? There you are. And that's it. Your cover's off. It's just that easy. So the next thing we're going to do is take the belt guide off over here. And usually you don't have to remove the blade on these. Sometimes you do. Now these are big old bolts. It's 1/2 inch, but these are also the bolts that hold the motor in place. So they're good, healthy bolts. Okay, to get this top cover off, you're going to need a Robertson, which is one of these little completely square bits. I know they're not on in everybody's toolboxes, but I didn't design them. There's two. Let me come around this side. And you can move the spring over and usually get to this one. We're going to leave those screws right there for the moment. I usually tell you to put them on a magnet, but these screws are only going to be off for a second. And you see how that everything just relaxed because the spring's attached to this. So now I'm going to go underneath and pull the belt off and then put the new belt in place, and we'll come back to this point. See, and we just loop it back and forth over the blade, and it comes right off. Now I'll get this in place, and this belt's stretched just a little bit, and a little bit's all it takes. Now that we've got our belt fed through, we're going to put it on the front pulley. And before you tighten it, take a look and make sure that it's still on the back pulley, because when you're fooling around with moving the mower around, it can jump off the back pulley, and then you put the cover back on and realize you have to take that part back apart. Okay, so now we're going to scoot this around and get it close. And this is the most challenging part. The spring will fight you. There we go. Now with the spring out of the way, this will go on pretty easily. Put her down here, I'll slide her on. And if you feel it rubbing the belt, don't worry about that. It'll take care of itself in the long run once we have everything together. But the belts do tend to rub the case just a little bit. Okay, we got our screw started. That's one. Now we'll line the pulley up and put the other two in. We'll double check underneath and put our cable or drive cable back on, and we're good to go. And that's it. Now to put this back on, we're going to go up top here a little bit. We'll need to readjust it for the new cable anyway. So we've got that out. Now put our screwdriver in there. And you see, we're going to give ourselves a ton of slack. Now you'll see putting this back together with a little bit of slack is a good bit easier. Still got to pull a little bit, but not much. Okay, let's put our cover back in place. Usually takes a little bit of wiggling to get her in the right spot. Well, on some mowers it does, I should say. There you go. And usually you can see you'll have a dirt mark, which tells you exactly where it goes. Okay, all that's left is a retainer and we're done. One of the tricks of the retainer is do it like this. Do it way off to one side and then tighten it down. Snug it up, but don't tighten it. And then do the other one. Just like that. And you can see it clicks right over. And we know our belt's on the inside and it's all correct. And there we go. Okay, we loosened this up so that we could put the cable in. So now we're going to push it back down. We're pushing it back that way until this cable feels relatively tight. Not real tight. You don't want it too tight. And now we'll tighten up this bolt. And we're done. Now if it tries to move on its own, you pull the cable, you'll loosen it and pull the cable back this way. If it doesn't seem to be moving fast enough, you go that way with the cable. Let's take her out and give her a run. Okay, let's see how well she works. And it's back to normal. You'll hear a lot of people talk about what the best mower is. And now the best mower is definitely a personal preference, but I consider that the best mower out there. The simplicity of it is just beautiful. It's got exactly the controls you need and does exactly the job you need, and it's got a motor that'll last forever. So if you compare it to this little Honda, which is next week's video, the Honda has just all sorts of ridiculous controls, and the whole thing is just over-designed top to bottom. So if you're looking for a used motor, this Toro with that flathead engine, you're guaranteed 10 more years on it. Put a new belt on occasionally, put a new blade on it when it needs it, and maybe replace a cable now and then, and it's good to go. You might not replace the spark plug for the whole life of the motor. Where you take this Honda, in my opinion, it's over-engineered, over-designed, and I don't think the engineers ever actually cut a lawn in their whole life. So all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free, and it's really what we work for. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.